thought it would be a night of love, a celebration of 8 years together. But one broken promise turned passion into violence and love into pain. Here's what happened. Now, Tinka was a small man, like really small. His body structure was not just short, but wiry and skinny. When Tinka walked into a room, he barely filled the doorway. And because of his wiry figure, our guy, Tinka, the man, always wore loose, baggy clothing. And they swallowed him whole. And they always found it funny. Perhaps it was to make him bigger. But that is not the story. I only thought you should know. And now you know. So you know, let us go ahead. So they say there is someone for everyone. And for our guy Tinka, that someone was Kajoina. Now, Kajoina was everything Tinka wasn't. I mean, she was a giant of a woman, tall, strong, and full of life and presence. If you made them both together, you'd think our Tinka was a boy walking along his mom, which often shocked people upon a closer look. People in our small village never got used to them, I among them. They would stop and gawk and gape at them, wondering how the two had found each other. How of all people they had decided to settle for one another. You see, big, small, they could not see the math. I couldn't. To say more about Kajoina, her big frame exuded a bounty of strength. But she was a graceful woman, moving with graceful rhythm. And unlike Tinka, she was hard not to notice when she entered the room. From the beginning of their beautiful love journey to the start of this story I'm about to tell you, they had been dating for a good 8 years. It had not been easy. The relationship had to survive, of course. The rumor mongering, the gawking and the stares, and the judgment. And with love, they had faced it all and survived it. I'm overdwelling. Forgive me. Let me tell you the story. It was their 8th anniversary. Every anniversary was always celebrated at Kajoina's place. And Tinka had never missed any. Every anniversary day, he'd spend a night at Kajoina's. They'd feast and celebrate until morning. And this year was no different. At least that's what Kajoina thought. 6 o'clock sharp, Tinka, our guy, had promised he'd be showing up for an evening of jubilation. And Tinka, well, he was known to keep his word. Always had. So as always, she believed him, of course. She did. She had to. So, I know you might be wondering, and I have to save you from that. See, in all the 8 years of dating and all that, they had never talked about living together. Not once. Each liked their own space, and it worked for them. When they wanted to see each other, they simply visited. Just like that. So, 6 o'clock, he had said, Kajoina just could not wait. It was a special day for there. And she wanted it to be more special than all the 7 anniversaries they had celebrated together. She spent the whole week planning, purchased decorations, got Tinka's favorite meal, planned. And this time, on a friend's advice, let us say a big woman procured herself a red silky nightdress. She wanted to look perfect for her Tinka, for her man. That day, our big lady kept looking at the clock again and again, and time had moved painfully slower than all other days. She could not wait. And finally, the sun slipped behind the hills and the sky turned orange. She sighed. Any moment now, she thought, any moment, Tinka would show up. At the stroke of 6 o'clock, she slipped herself into her new red night dress, then stood by the door waiting. For every minute she was there, she would think she had seen a small figure somewhere walking towards the path, down the path towards her house. But each time it was just a shadow. Then 15 minutes passed, then 30 minutes passed, then 45 minutes passed. Still no Tinker. Where was Tinker? Her excitement began to fade into worry. She leaned against the door frame, tapping her fingers, biting her lip, whispering to herself, "Where is he? Where's the man?" She checked her phone, kept checking her phone. There were no messages, no missed calls, nothing, just silence. Then anxiety started to creep in. Where was Tinker? Where was her man? She kept waiting. The clock chimed 7. She began to worry. Tinker had never been late. She wondered, had he forgotten? Could he? Could he have? Our guy Tinker had not forgotten. Never. He was fully aware of the promises he had made. He knew exactly where he was supposed to be. But you see, he had deliberately chosen to stay right where he was. And where was he? He was right at his place, in his room, in his house, his tiny room apartment, lying there flat on his small squeaky bed. His TV flickered weakly in the corner, showing a football match that didn't even hold his attention anymore. He stretched, he rolled and sighed, enjoying the comfort of his bed. His phone had buzzed once and kept buzzing again and again, 6 times in total if you should count. And I'm being exact. He had looked at it each time it had buzzed. Soccer Joiner's name flashed on the screen and still ignored it. 6 times, 6 missed calls, and the numerous messages had all gone ignored. Tinker kept reassuring himself. It was just another night. Nothing special. He was going to see her the following day. What was the rush for? See, earlier that day, while still at work, Tinker had suddenly decided he wasn't going to make the trip. Halfway through his shift, he had remembered there was a football game he didn't want to miss, and then had promised himself that he would make it up to her, our big lady Kajoina, when they met again. Funny thing, the game had turned out even to be boring. But still, he had decided to stay where he was. It was late already, that's what he had told himself. He would see her the following day. It was the loud knock that jolted our small buddy up. He had started dozing off when it came. Hard and heavy. It was the kind of knock that demanded attention so fast. He sat up, rubbed his eyes, searched the remote to lower the TV volume. He wanted to be sure he wasn't imagining it, and it was not the TV. And our guy had right. The second round of knocks came even louder. They were in quick, rapid succession and sounded really urgent and angry. Really angry. His heart started racing. Who could that be? He wasn't expecting anyone, well, except for where he was supposed to be, and had deliberately chosen not to go. There was no one else he was expecting. The banging continued, heavily and relentless. He stood up. Our guy was half-dressed. He was unsure what to do. He thought about ignoring it, but the banging grew louder each moment. What would the neighbor think? He had no choice. So Tinker, our guy, tiptoed slowly to the door, hesitating for a second, then turned the handle and opened the door wide. There she was, our big lady Kajoina, Tinker's love. She was still clad in her red night dress, only that this time she had wrapped a sarong with African prints around her waist. Her contorted face said it all. She was furious. She didn't speak. She didn't have to. The face said it all. She stormed past him straight into the room. Her eyes burned with anger. Her chest heaved up and down. Before Tinka could even ask what was happening, when he turned, oh my God, she reached for him with both of her hands very strong and gripped him around his neck. The grip was strong. Tinka froze. He didn't know what to think. What was she? Was she joking? Playing around? Just playing rough? Nope. She wasn't. She wasn't. One hand let loose and swung hard across Tinka's face. The slap was so heavy that it sent him reeling, his eyes blinking with shock. Then came another harder one. His vision span. The TV still played in the background, the noise of a boring game mixing with the chaos. Then they stumbled across the room, knocking the bed, the TV stand. Then our small guy fell backwards. The slaps were dizzying. He could not hold his balance, so he fell backwards. Kajoina, our big furious lady, fell right on top of him. Her weight, her anger, he felt them all at once, all that force on top of his body. When he tried to plead, no words came. Instead, another slap landed hard across his face. This time, where the nose burned, he thought it had been broken. That is when Tinka, our guy, snapped. He was not about to be killed by this big woman, Kajoina. His small, wiry body was all covered by Kajoina's full weight. Under her, he struggled to breathe. He started to fight. He started to fight back. He pushed hard and hard. I kept pushing, his body ringing like a worm under hers. And suddenly, almost by fate or by some mere chance, he found himself on top of Kajoina, the big woman. It was like as if he's sitting on a big heap of a mountain. His hands shook with anger. He grabbed her by the neck, holding her down on the bed. He shouted, asking, why? His other hand swung back and landed across her face again and again, pounding her face. Her eyes widened, her body froze. The room went silent except for the sound of the TV, the commentators shouting, oblivious of what was just unfolding before them in this small room. And as fast as it had started, it stopped. He looked at her, then at his hands. What had he done? His hands had never hit a woman before. What had just happened? Our small guy rolled off her. Kajoina lay there on the bed, breathing slowly and quietly, staring at the ceiling. Tinka sat on the edge of the bed, still shaking, his chest heavy. Neither spoke. The only thing that moved was the flicker of the TV light bouncing across the walls of this small room. Silence filled the room. Tinka had never imagined himself raise his hand to a woman, least of all his Kajoina. The thought of it felt foreign and wrong. But what had she expected? How could she come at him like that and not expect him to fight back? Kajoina slowly sat up. Her face was tight with pain. She stood, reorganized herself without looking at him. Then softly she said, "Good night," and walked out. Tinka didn't reply. He just sat there watching her walk towards the door. He stood, shut the door behind her, turned off the TV, and lay on the bed. Sleep took him before another thought could form in his mind. It was the sound of his phone that woke him up the following morning. He reached for it, half awake. It was Kajoina, her voice calm and soft. She asked him to come over for breakfast. It was ready. He replied he was on his way. He got up, threw on a shirt, slid into his sandals, and walked out. Just like that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching EzroniX Story for today. Love and Lies, a couple's anniversary night turned violent, reminds us how quickly love can easily twist under the weight of silence, emotions, and promises which are unfulfilled. Every choice carries weight, and sometimes what we fail to say can hurt and escalate emotions into drama and chaos. If this story moved you and you liked it and you loved it and you laughed at some point, or it moved you into some kind of emotion, please subscribe, like, share, and leave us your thoughts and share with your friends. Visit EzroniX website for more stories that explore life, love, and the human experience. There you will also find stories for your children in the EzroniX Kids Corner. You'll love those ones. And finally, sign up and receive story updates right in your inbox. Sign up to the EzroniX newsletter. All those links for the EzroniX website and for the EzroniX newsletter, they are all right in the description below. Just check it right now. Well, I remain Ezron, as always, here at EzroniX. Till next week with another fabulous story. Adios.